Thank you, everybody, for joining us. My name is Lori Beasley. I am the president of the Direct Marketing Association of Northern California, and it is my immense pleasure to be here and to welcome you to this webinar, The Future of B2B Social Media Marketing. Our presenter today is Luann Wise. Luann comes to us with immense expertise and background. She's the author of many books, and she's going to introduce herself and her tremendous background in a couple of minutes. Before I turn this over to Luann, many of you do not know who we are with the association, and I wanted to take just a second to introduce you to our association and what we have to offer here. We offer a tremendous best-in-class online education program that's available worldwide uh, to anybody who would like to participate with us. They are live online as well as recorded classes. They include topics: AI for digital marketing, SEO, Google Ads, Google Analytics 4, and Looker Studio, email marketing, both organic and paid social advertising, content marketing, podcasting, and YouTube marketing, influencer marketing, copywriting, video production for social media, product marketing and account-based marketing, and a brand new program in sustainable marketing. If you are interested in a certificate in digital marketing, it is very easy to achieve with us. All you have to do is complete any 8 modules within 2 years and you have a certificate. Many classes are worth 2 or 3. Sometimes some of them are worth 4 modules. So you can construct your class certificate any way you want and pick the classes that are of interest to you, which is very unique. Most certificate programs tell you what to take. We say you choose the classes that you are interested in taking and you design your own certificate. Most certificate programs are recorded. Our classes are available live online every quarter. If you like that model of being able to ask questions and interact with the instructor, which I think is very valuable. So there's more information there. Also, we have a brand new first in the United States certificate in sustainable marketing program. So that's 3 classes. And I am very passionate about this program. I feel like marketers have a huge role in promoting sustainable marketing messages and being leaders in this whole new world we're in. And this is a very incredible program. So if this is something you're interested in being a thought leader in and a marketing leader in, this is a really neat program. One more thing, the recording for this webinar, sorry, gotta get this hat on, come to you tomorrow-ish from an email address, no reply at zoom.us, so look for it there. If you do not receive it, fill out the contact us form at dmanc.org and we'll get it to you some other way. I want you to get it. I am going to hand this over to you, Luann, and take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Laurie. First, a quick question that's appeared in the chat. Someone has asked, does this webinar count as a module to earn a certificate?
It does not. Yeah. So thank you for asking that. Yeah, this is just a half-hour free webinar, and sorry about that, but Luann's offering a class in LinkedIn advertising, which is 2 modules, and that's coming up in 3 weeks. So take her class. You'll love it.
Thank you, Laurie. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending this webinar. It is a big topic, the future of B2B social media marketing. So I will be going at quite a pace for the next 25 minutes. As Laurie said, you are going to receive a copy of this recording tomorrow. Please do use the chat, ask any questions. I've got one eye on a second screen having a look, but I will probably come to those at the end. And also, as Laurie said, I'm happy to stay on and answer some of those as well. My name is Luann Wise. I am a chartered marketer, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I've been working in this industry for over 20 years now in advertising agency roles, in client side roles, and also running a consultancy business. My passion has turned into a real deep focus on the world of social media as a marketing, and I am very proud to work directly with some of the platforms. I am a LinkedIn Learning course instructor, so if you have a premium account, access to LinkedIn Learning, perhaps through a library, I have some courses in there on the topics of marketing and social media. I'm also a lead trainer for Meta, Facebook and Instagram, and a coach for Google's Digital Garage program. I'm an author of one book that was published 5 years ago, but I actually have 3 new books on the way based on social media marketing topics. The next book will be out in about a month, exact date to be confirmed, but please do keep a lookout, do connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me, and you will receive those details. And also really proud to be a part of the DMA of Northern California, and I will be hosting the LinkedIn Advertising Masterclass, which starts on the 21st of September. I will tell you a little bit more about that shortly. I wanted to pick on 3 key areas to dive into today, talking about how B2B marketing is evolving, what platforms are leading the way. My experience as a marketer is very much B2B. I have also some B2C experience, but I've worked across sectors from manufacturers to law firms, financial services, products, FMCG, higher education as well. So predominantly B2B. I want to talk about content and how important that is for social media and for capturing the attention of the decision makers. And also organic and paid. We know that there are 2 parts to social media marketing, and I've got some stats in terms of where we're going in terms of paid social media over the next few months, year. It's quite difficult to go too far into the future of marketing and social media. I take a very much data-driven, research-led approach, understanding what's happening from key players in this market, from the platforms themselves, from Gartner, from B2B Institute of LinkedIn to other platforms. And that's the research that I'm going to share with you today, that's combined with lots of reading, lots of consultancy-led conversations as well to make it practical. I also like to start at the beginning. So I have a slide just to get us into the frame that we are talking today about B2B marketing. And while some people think that we are marketing to people, and absolutely we are all human in these marketing worlds on the end of marketing activity, I do still believe that there is distinct differences between business to consumer marketing and business to business marketing. And that is that B2C is very much about meeting individual or family needs, depending on the level of that purchase, unless it's a house or a car or a holiday. Perhaps these purchases are impulsive, they don't involve other people, they are through a third party, such as a retailer, and we learn about them through mass media, TV, radio, and social media. B2B is about buying on behalf of an organization. Sometimes, depending whether is it software, is it hardware, is it a service, sometimes those buying decisions can be quite lengthy, and they can also involve a large number of people, 5+ people sometimes, depending on the organization, depending on the purchase. In B2B, we do tend to purchase directly from our suppliers rather than an intermediary, and very often those relationships are personal as well. What I haven't put into this table is sometimes there are conversations around B2B perhaps being more rational than an emotional B2C purchase. I don't believe that's always true. I think there is a lot of emotion in B2B marketing, in B2B buying. If anyone recalls the very classic quote, "You never got fired for buying IBM," there are certainly emotions involved when you are buying on behalf of an organization and something that will impact your colleagues as well. So this decision-making unit, the number of people that are involved in B2B decision-making for products and services on behalf of an organization. The reason for showing you this is There is data around, not only are there multiple people involved, some initiate the need for a new product or service, some are going to be the end user, some won't be the end user, but are involved in the decision making, the procurement of something. Sometimes you may have gatekeepers to these individuals in terms of getting your information and your marketing and sales messages through. Sometimes these can be the same individuals as well. It is very important that you understand who is involved in buying your product or service. And there's also something really interesting happening here in that our decision-making unit is multi-generational. And as Generation Z are now entering the workforce, we have a different generation who are starting to influence our buying decisions. A generation that have grown up as digital natives and are using social media in a much more heavier fashion. They're used to it. They're using multiple platforms. Not saying that older generations aren't heavy social media users, but they are perhaps what we would call digital immigrants and have learned to use these platforms rather than our digital natives. Each member of this decision-making unit in a B2B purchase is gathering 5 or 6 different pieces of information as they go through these decisions, these looking what's available, what could solve their problems, who could solve their problems. And social media as a marketing channel is brilliant in that it affects the whole funnel, from awareness through to interest through to action. So we have so many layers of how social media can support our marketing activity for each of the decision-making unit and for all of the stages of the buying journey. Now, the buying journey, yes, I am using some marketing models here. We are a teaching organization, a learning company. So I like to use these. I use them in practice, even though I've been learning them from my studies for over 20 years. I do believe that they are great models to base our thinking and our planning on. And the B2B buying journey, not to overwhelm you, but to encourage you to think about this and what it means to your organization. Have a look at these documents, these reports. When you get a copy of the slide deck, I've put all of the sources in there for you. This is from Gartner. This is an illustration of the B2B buying journey. And what it is showing is those stages of identifying a problem, exploring the solutions, finding out more details about the requirements, and then selecting your suppliers. It is not linear. It is not a step-by-step process. Lots of other things are going on in people's worlds at the same time. If you can see, I've circled 2 elements of this that show how important LinkedIn discussions are to the B2B buying journey. When social media conversations appear as well. Other elements in this chart show website searches, white paper downloads, things like that, which anyone using social media knows that these are posts that we often talk about. Go and visit our website, go and download this white paper. Here's an infographic from our white paper. So social media content and impact and inputs will appear throughout a buying journey. And increasingly, we also know, not just because of hybrid working and changing patterns, but for many years now, people are doing more and more of their own research before they get in contact with an organization. So on that comparison table where I said B2B marketing is very often about personal selling direct from the organization, that is true, but people are doing more of the upfront work for themselves. Website searches, social media conversations as well. So it is important. We cannot avoid this. We can't bury our heads in the sand and say that social media isn't important in B2B marketing. Now, there is also lots of research around the differences between B2C and B2B, and that B2B has often lagged behind B2C in terms of marketing efforts, in terms of marketing technologies and what we do and how we do things. I'd love to say as a predominantly B2B marketer that I didn't think that was true, but I do think it is, that B2C do have a leap ahead in terms of what they're doing, perhaps less risk adverse, perhaps more creative. So even if you are a B2B marketer, do look at what's happening in B2C worlds. Do look at other industries and sectors to see what they are doing and how they are doing it. People are people. We are marketing to people, and they will be seeing those kind of marketing activities as well. So dive into those worlds and get inspiration from wherever and whatever brands you possibly can. Don't restrict yourself to your industry or your sector. That's one of the things I love about working across sector, is that gathering the ideas from one and then thinking about how I can interpret that for another. I mentioned, if you were on here early in the chat asking questions, a brilliant, amazing source of data for social media. If I am doing any social media presentations, business cases, meetings, conversations, and I need data about what's happening on the social media platforms, what are the trends, the data go-to source for me is this. It's datareportal.com. I'll share it again at the end. It is updated quarterly. So the few slides I've got coming up are from July 2023. It's as up to date as we can get. The next round will be September data, so it'll be out early October. Go to datareportal.com if you need any data that is social media related. The most recent data shows that now 60% of the global population are using social media. There is an almost 50-50 split in terms of gender on that, male, female. When you dive into the data, there are differences by social media platform, by gender, by age group, by country as well. Not only is 60% of the global population now using social media, on average, people are spending 2 hours, 26 minutes a day on these platforms. You may be above average if you work in social media marketing, but the average user, 2.5 hours a day on social media across 6.7 different social media platforms. Those 6.7 could include Facebook, could include YouTube, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, Weibo, 6.7 different social media platforms on average. Why do people use more than one social media platform? The data in these reports also shows that each social media platform actually has a very, very small, unique audience. For example, less than 1% of people only use one platform. I think it's like 0.1% of people only use TikTok, of those social media users. So people are using more than one platform. And they're using more than one platform because they have different purposes for it. If you consider YouTube, go to watch videos, WhatsApp to message friends and family, TikTok for entertainment, LinkedIn, possibly more for B2B networking conversations. Overall, the world's most used social media platforms as of July, and actually in this report, I look at this every quarter, there aren't huge shifts in the order of these platforms. Facebook has been top for a number of years. I just caught out of the corner of my eye, so I'm just going to give you that source there, datareportal.com. Facebook has been number one for a number of years, followed closely by YouTube. The number 2 position for YouTube, for me, really highlights the importance of video content. Don't forget that statement, the importance of video content. We have the other platforms in here, Instagram, Twitter, now called X, Pinterest. The eagle eyes among you may notice that LinkedIn isn't in here. That is purely because they report differently to the other social media platforms. These data is based on active users. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, so reports slightly differently. If they were to be included in this data, it would be around the Twitter line at the bottom. They have 950 million members, about 50% of those are currently active. I'm looking forward to the next update on this because not only will Twitter have changed to X, I think we will see a difference in those stats. We will also see threads from Instagram coming onto here, I believe, in the next report. Size is not the only factor that should come into your consideration set when you are choosing which social media platforms to use for your marketing. This is about where you're most likely to find your audience and what platforms are the best fit in terms of their nature. Again, one more slide here from this datareportal.com to show you that Facebook is used most often for messaging friends and family. LinkedIn is used most often to keep up to date with news and current events. TikTok for entertainment. Pinterest for following or researching brands and products. People have different reasons for different platforms. This is really important in terms of the platforms you choose and the content that you post on these platforms. I only have 30 minutes, so I am flying through these, and I hope that you can have a look at these and consider the data afterwards and what it means to you and your organization. The topic of today is B2B, so I'm going to dive into that and share this report, which is a 2023 report from LinkedIn and Ipsos that says LinkedIn is the go-to source for B2B marketers. It is the leading platform that's been used most over the past year. But again, look, YouTube is second. The DMA has a course on YouTube, a masterclass that I believe starts tomorrow. So if you are motivated by needing to do more on YouTube, do check that out. Video is increasingly important across all platforms. We know that video is important on Instagram in terms of Reels, on Facebook in terms of Reels. TikTok is short form video as well. But LinkedIn is most of the time comes out top for B2B. And in terms of content, this data isn't split by B2B or B2C. This is overall, but this is a 2023 content report from Sprout Social, which is a social media management platform. And they have looked at what type of content in a feed is most engaging. Engagement, likes, comments, and shares is really important on social media. That is what we are looking to achieve. We want our viewers to get involved so that we know what resonates with them and what they're interested in, so that they take a next action for us, visit a website, download a white paper, sign up for an event. And also when people engage, it pushes that content out to their own networks as well. I've mentioned video, I'm going to reinforce it again. Video is the most engaging type of in-feed social media content right now. Short form, long form, live, it is really, really important. And in terms of what that content itself looks like, for B2B, it's about thought leadership. It is about knowledge, advice, opinion, what insights can you, your leadership team as individuals offer. Thought leadership, this is from Edelman, who do a regular reports around thought leadership. They also do an annual trust barometer as well. Really, really great B2B insights in their reports. Have a look. Thought leadership is one of the most effective tools an organization can use to demonstrate its value to customers during a tough economy. So if we're talking about the future, we know we're in a tough economy right now, and over the next few months, possibly years, it's going to stay that way as well. And this is even more important than traditional advertising or product marketing, according to B2B buyers. And LinkedIn are reinforcing this as well. If you get an opportunity, have a look at this recent article that appeared as an interview with LinkedIn's exec team in Entrepreneur magazine around how the algorithm is working right now. Posts will be prioritized in feeds according to including knowledge and advice. It's about content, it's about quality and opinion, not just about reposts and shares and what people are working on, but LinkedIn wants to promote thought leadership. LinkedIn is the go-to platform for B2B. Thought leadership content is what's important to decision makers. LinkedIn is promoting B2B thought leadership content. Add those together, that's where we're going. But while that is important, and this quote from Tim Williams, the CEO of Analytica, LinkedIn and Twitter have been the mainstay channels of B2B content over the past 10 years. Content creators. YouTube, podcasts, Instagram have become more and more popular, and TikTok has exploded. There's a couple of points in here. LinkedIn and Twitter as the mainstays of B2B, other platforms coming through, and the future being TikTok. My comment around the cross-generational nature of decision-making units, Gen Z coming in, TikTok is their platform of choice right now. So I don't believe LinkedIn and Twitter are going away. We probably just need to layer on these more entertainment-led, these younger profile platforms to make sure that we're covering the whole remit of a decision-making unit. I've mentioned tough economy, but there is good news, according to LinkedIn and Ipsos, that despite the tough economy, B2B budgets, which are often the first thing that gets cut when times are tough, are actually looking positive. This data briefly shows that over the next year, our budgets are going to stay the same or increase, which is good news. And in terms of paid advertising, again, global advertising spend is forecast to increase over $1 trillion in 2024. Social media will be the fastest growing channel for ad spend in the next couple of years. It will soak up over 1/5 of total ad spend. Meta controls 2/3 of the social media ad market at the moment, but TikTok is absolutely coming through on that in terms of ad spend as well. So ads paying to play on social media isn't going away. I will be diving into all of that in the LinkedIn advertising masterclass. Happy to take questions. I can see there's a few coming up. I'll turn to those in a second, but budgets are looking good in the future, and ad budgets as well. People are going to be spending money on advertising, which my insights means that it must work. If people are spending money and continuing to spend money, it must be working for organizations. And this is from the Content Marketing Institute. Again, as up to date as I can get with data, marketers who do use paid social are getting the best results with LinkedIn advertising. This chart shows the effectiveness. And for me, it's the second part of this statement. How effective are these paid social media platforms in helping you achieve your goals? That's what we want to do. Understand what your goals are and then achieve your goals through a combination of organic and paid. But this data is showing that LinkedIn is giving good results. I know earlier in the chat, some people are struggling with their LinkedIn ads in terms of spend, engagement rates. This LinkedIn advertising masterclass coming up in 3 weeks with me. We will be diving into the fundamentals of online advertising, how to set up campaign manager, look at audience targeting. You've got to get that right. You need to know your audience before you dive in, looking at ad formats, creative tips, and best practice examples as well. So I can see out of the corner of my eye, Laurie, we'll turn to those in a second, but to summarize my whirlwind tour of what I think is happening, the future of B2B social media marketing. Buyers and the buying journey have changed. COVID has impacted all of us around the world as consumers, as B2B buyers, the way we live, the way we work, and the trends of technology as well, helping us do more and more research online before we get in contact with organizations. The economic environment is challenging, but fingers crossed, marketing budgets are not impacted, according to some research. LinkedIn is the go-to source for B2B marketers right now, has been for a long time. It's 20 years old, LinkedIn. It's been around a while. The role of thought leadership content is important. Working with influencers and creators in partnership is also important. Yes, in B2B as well. It is not just a B2C retail, beauty, hair, makeup, fashion domain. Influencers are important in B2B content as well. And a new generation of decision makers is coming, which leads us to think about the content we create, the format we create, and the platforms that we are using. We have no control, but I can guarantee the future means ongoing algorithm and platform changes, new platforms, changing platforms. We are also in an environment, not just of economic challenges, but data regulations as well. In the UK, we have online safety bill coming through. In Europe, we have a new Digital Services Act. I know that there are some TikTok bans in government institutions and some states in the US as well. We need to keep an eye out for what's happening around data regulations. And we've almost got through a presentation without mentioning AI, apart from you have a course on AI, but AI is impacting social media as well. The platforms are integrating it, management tools are integrating it, people are using it to help them create social media marketing content as well. So the future is looking positive. There is always going to be change, but I think that's what makes the world of social media marketing so exciting. And I love being a part of it. I will turn to the questions in a second, but just to say, as we said at the beginning, there are lots of live online and recorded workshops. You can have a look at those on the DMA website. And also we've included on the slide deck contact details for myself. If I don't get to your questions today, and for Laurie as well, if there are any questions, we are both open to receiving messages from you at any time.
Yeah, so many of you probably have to leave for a meeting. Thank you so much for attending. We're going to stay on for 5 minutes to answer questions for those who choose to stay on. For those who have to pop off, thank you so much for attending. We will send this recording out as soon as Zoom will generate it for us. So it could be this afternoon or tomorrow. Depends on the Zoom world. Thank you again. And we'll include the Q&A now and also in that recording as well. I think Nancy is the next question. Hi, Nancy. It's been a long time since I've seen you, but it's great to see you on the webinar.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sticking with it. We've got questions in the Q&A and in the chat. So Nancy's question, many of my B2B colleagues, particularly cybersecurity, startup CMOs, can't see LinkedIn ads ROI to justify funding it. We understand the difference between Google ads and LinkedIn is intent, in search intent. Absolutely. Google ads reflects people who demonstrated intent by typing in the keywords we targeted, versus LinkedIn excelling in targeting your ideal customer target persona who should be aware of your solution but has not demonstrated any intent. Can I elaborate, confirm, or dispel this general opinion? And what is really interesting, Nancy, and something that I'm researching and collaborating on at the moment is search and how there are trends in search engines being less important to younger generations than social media. And that actually social media is more of a search tool for 16 to 24, 24 to 35-year-olds than search engines. It is dominating and becoming a source for people searching. Many younger people are getting their news, their information from TikTok versus the web. So there is this balance of where search engines and social media are going in terms of search as a tool. So social media is really important, but absolutely your word intent is also important as well. So we need to understand the marketing funnel, awareness through to action, where people are, what our messages are. We also need to think about branded search versus unbranded search. And so I don't actually think it is one versus the other. It is about understanding your journey, your customer's journey, and the messages that you need to put out. What stage your organization is at. If you're a new startup, then yeah, you need more awareness than perhaps other content, conversion content down the funnel would be your priority right now. I think it is understanding the messaging and how you target to get the match right. So I don't believe that one is better than the other, but you need to understand your audience, the intent, the journey, and the positioning to make sure you get it right. The challenge is because these platforms can be self-serve, you can dive straight in, you can experiment with quite small budgets. That is sometimes what people do without that kind of back to basics marketing planning. Marcy, I would love to understand.
Actually, was one of the best answers I have ever heard on that one question.
Oh,
so thank you.
thank you. Marcy, I would love to learn more about how to leverage TikTok for B2B. I'm just not seeing it amongst the panda and cat videos. I will confess, I've been doing some research in the world of B2B with a business school in the UK. And when we started the research in 2020, I said to my academic professor partner, I don't think TikTok is going to take off. I don't think it's going to stick around. In part, I think I was wrong because of a global pandemic where people were looking for entertainment when they were at home. But I was also wrong. TikTok is breaking through. I would encourage you to have a look at some B2B brands and what they are doing on TikTok. And the B2B brands I talk to go, you're absolutely right. We can't talk about our products and services. That's not TikTok. But we can educate our customers about our products. We can do the employer branding, what it's like to work for us, what it's like behind the scenes of our organization. And we know that people are increasingly valuing an alignment with purpose and values and who we work with. If you're trying to recruit people, you need to show that you are up to date and attractive to potential Gen Z employees. So have a look at what Adobe are doing, what IBM are doing, what Sage are doing. I could list out some brands. Have a look at the brands and what they're doing. I learn Excel tips. I learn presentation tips. There are HR people doing guidance around how to interview people or how to answer interview questions as well. So I think it just takes a different angle to how it can work for you in your organization. But watch what other people are doing and go for the big brands that are trying and testing this already. There is a space for B2B on TikTok.
I will add that our TikTok, we have a class on TikTok organic masterclass here, and our instructor gives several examples. And the one point he makes is you can't depart from the serendipity tone of TikTok, even though you're a B2B brand. And he gives several examples of how a B2B brand will be on TikTok, but use humor, use a lighter tone to fit in with TikTok and not be so serious. And so, yeah, look at several examples because you'll see that they may be dead serious advertising on, the New York Times, but, digital, but have a totally different approach in TikTok, like a totally different ad.
Yeah. And TikTok say that, don't they? They say create TikToks, don't create ads. You can't really go heavy on branding because it just, that's not what people are there for. And the challenge around social media platforms is, very much they start off as a place without advertising, and then us marketers find our way in and find the opportunity in there. To pick up,
there's a very similar question from Samantha over in the chat. How do you approach TikTok as a more serious brand when a lot of the material on TikTok is so raw? And that's a very similar question.
Yeah, it's the educational side of things, showing behind the scenes. I think, and to pick up on what someone else is asking about thought leadership content, event content is brilliant. Is it a teaser for your event? Is it behind the scenes? Is it what's happening? Is it the top takeaways as well? See it as a place, hashtag learn on TikTok is huge. Hashtag book talk for looking for book recommendations, fiction and non-fiction is huge. People are looking to learn in an entertaining way. So think about how you can get your messages across in perhaps less of a, what do we do as B2B marketers? We list features and benefits and, kit specs for manufacturers. It's just about thinking about things in a different way so that it fits within the environment. It can still be serious. We're not saying you need to dance along to what's happening or anything like that. It's not saying you can't stick with your own tone of voice and your values. It's just slightly different messaging to perhaps what you're used to putting out on a leadership platform such as LinkedIn.
So we've gone 10 minutes over already. So let's take 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to answer the rest via
I'll just
email.
answer this one more TikTok one. As someone said, could it be beneficial for a manufacturing company? I don't see how it does at the moment. Behind the scenes, meet your team. What are you manufacturing? As someone that's worked in B2B for a long time, I love seeing how machinery works and how things come off the end of a production line, or the specs for doing something, or how your end product is used in practice as well. I'm sure there's lots of how this is used or how it's created, or your planning or production teams. Have a look at what others are doing. Very little of what we do is entirely original. We put our own insights and thoughts and experiences into it, but absolutely immerse yourself in social media and you will pick up the ideas. It's what we've always done in print, it's what we've always done in TV. So don't fear it, but you do have to immerse yourself into it. And if you're trying to sell it in to your colleagues, the best thing to do is to show examples of what other people are doing. I did a very big presentation yesterday on this. And what did we do? We took examples from other organizations and said, this is what we're going to do, but with our spin on it. And we showed examples, and that's how you can get buy-in on it. And I would give that as the advice on everything from the other question that is around thought leadership content, webinar recordings. Yeah, LinkedIn are prioritizing based on knowledge and advice. In my trainings, very rarely talk about algorithms. I will talk about them when the platforms themselves tell us what they are prioritizing and what they're doing. But overall, I believe success relies on understanding your audience, answering their questions, and delivering the information that they want. And if you can do that, whether it's a blog, whether it's a webinar, whether it's an infographic, focus on that thought leadership content. And you can take one message and repurpose it into different formats as well. But in terms of LinkedIn content, videos do perform well. PDF documents are also performing well in terms of content on LinkedIn as well, because it's engaging and people watch it. And that's ultimately what we're wanting people to do.
Okay, one more? 2 more?
I think.
What do you think about Candace's question on Facebook?
Yeah. What do I think about Facebook's move on B2B? Do I think it will be successful? I love meta ads and the targeting capability, but so much of B2B is really niche. It is really niche. B2B is really niche, and perhaps in a way that's why I've always favored it versus kind of mass audiences. B2B's advertising in terms of criteria has changed quite significantly over the last couple of years. Not just since Cambridge Analytica and their issues over data, partly because of a global pandemic as well, partly because of elections and government activity, that they have reduced a number of their ad criteria. So you can no longer target health-related causes. You can no longer get involved in political advertising as well. So there are restrictions, and they are adding in more B2B criteria as well. I think the context of Facebook is to consider that it is a platform where people are going to communicate with their friends and family. So your B2B marketing is much more likely to be interruptive in a bigger way than it is on a LinkedIn platform where people are there for business networking. But it can absolutely still work. It does work for products, for software, for white paper downloads, for events as well. It's just, again, thinking about that journey and where they are in their awareness of you, their conversion to doing business with you or capturing your content when they're on Facebook versus perhaps when they're on LinkedIn. And last one, Laurie, do I have any insights on if people are leaning more towards short versus long form videos on YouTube or LinkedIn? Short form versus long form, absolutely, both are important. Short form I would define as 3 minutes or less, long form over. I think it depends on the message. And I think what's really interesting is how actually they work together. And if we look at what YouTube are doing in terms of shorts and their traditional longer form content format, that YouTube are encouraging people to use shorts to drive people to watching something longer form. So there will be data. I would look at Data Reportal. I would also look at Social Insider, have a lot of data around the difference of engagement rates between Reels and TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and some of this depends on account size as well as the content format. So I think the answer to that question is both, and that they work together, one leads to the other. But do the YouTube masterclass. I'm sure that will be covered.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for staying on and asking questions, and have a great rest of your day, and happy marketing. Busy, busy fall for everybody. Hopefully you've gotten a taste for some of the course content that we have coming up, and love to see people on some classes. All righty. Have a great rest of your day, Luann. Thank you so much for this fantastic whetting of the appetite for what's happening and social media for B2B, and lots more to come.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great.
Take care. Bye.